Welcome to Afternoon Express. Today we're focusing on our hearts with Dr. Michelle Merrington's Guide to a Healthy Heart, plus a dietitian gives us advice on heart-healthy foods. Therapist Jonathan Capito is going to guide us through heartbreak, and we'll look at a new documentary called The Heart of Cape Town that champions South Africans overcoming poverty. But for now, it's all about the heart and how it works. This week is World Heart Rhythm Week, and we've invited Dr. Michelle Merrington to highlight the importance of heart health and unravel the complexities of how the heart actually works. Welcome, Dr. Michelle.
Thank you very much.
It's so lovely to have you back.
It is very lovely to be back again.
How's your heart been since the last time we saw you?
Well, we're in the midst of flu season, so it's beating very fast.
Okay.
We are so busy, but it's been good, thank you.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to the heart, I guess when it comes to any part of the body, it's important to understand why it's important, right?
Absolutely.
Why is the heart important?
Embracing a healthy lifestyle is central to maintaining a good, healthy heart. And I believe you are never too young and never too old to make those changes, and they will certainly impact on your heart, going forward. And in so doing, prevent things like heart attacks and strokes, which ideally is the goal.
How does the heart work and function?
So just to simplistically try to describe it.
Yes, make it simple, please.
It would be lovely to have
Not
a diagram.
doctor's way.
But essentially the heart is divided into 4 chambers.
Yes.
You have 2 smaller chambers at the top and 2 larger chambers at the bottom. On the right-hand side, the heart receives blood from the rest of the body, and typically that blood is deoxygenated or poor or low in oxygen, and usually kind of depleted of minerals and vitamins. That then comes into the heart, the blood moves down into the lower ventricle, which is the right ventricle, and that then takes it all the way to the lungs. In the lungs, blood is oxygenated, so now we're good again. And from there, it returns to the heart so that the heart can then pump it to the rest of the body. And in so doing, we're now kind of sending out good oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood back to the body.
Yes.
And that very just simplistically is the flow kind of from the body to the heart, heart to the lungs, back to the heart, and the heart pumps that out into the rest of the body. And with that carries nutrients, hormones, etc.
Isn't it interesting that when you have a visual picture of how something works, you almost appreciate it more?
I
right?
think it's simply
because we take so much for granted.
Absolutely.
What we don't see, like our lungs, our brain, the heart.
And I don't think you realize the complexities until you see it and you can visualize what's actually happening.
Yeah,
at a more microscopic level.
Well, thank you for that explanation. What are some of the conditions affiliated with heart disease, for example?
There are a few, and again, just to kind of categorize it. So let's start with what we would call coronary artery disease. And essentially that speaks of the blood vessels that feed the heart or carries blood to the heart. So those vessels can become blocked, for example, and typically that is what a heart attack is about. Just again, very simplistically, we can't get adequate blood flow to the heart. We also have cerebrovascular disease, so this speaks of disease of the vessels that feeds the brain, and that again will result in a stroke. Those vessels can either be blocked or those vessels could bleed, and yes, that will kind of cause symptoms that we regard as a stroke. The others, so diseases of the valves of the heart and the heart muscle itself. You've got congenital heart disease, so that speaks of deformities that happened whilst the baby was still developing in the mom's womb, and therefore baby was born with these deformities. You think of vessels, you think of the heart itself, the muscle, the valve, so there are various components of the heart that can become diseased and then result in symptoms.
How does one become mindful of one's heart and mindful of one's heart health?
I guess it
What do you
starts with
do?
just an awareness, firstly. And then it speaks to the lifestyle you lead.
Yeah,
so
that's important, right? Your external environment.
Your environment and making changes that I suppose ultimately will benefit the heart, because our choices can either benefit or be to the detriment of your heart, and the heart is central to the functioning of your body.
Yeah.
So once that goes, slowly but surely, each organ will ultimately fail. So be cognizant of the good choice, making good choices for your heart and for your kind of, I suppose, your body in general, which we will expand on a little bit later.
Great. So I want to ask you, though, if we are cognizant and we are aware of, heart health, what are some of the symptoms we should look out for or be aware of
First and foremost, and probably the most common, and what brings people in a real panic, is that chest pain is one of the common symptoms. And typically it would probably be either central or left-sided chest pain. But to be more specific, you know, with regard to the heart, is that pain could radiate to the left shoulder, it could radiate up to your jaw, it could radiate down the left arm. That's the first thing. Secondly, there's shortness of breath. So just kind of difficulty breathing, in the absence of lung disease, of course, but being concerned about the fact that you're just struggling. Fainting and collapsing, we worry about that. So if something like that should happen, speak to your doctor, just get checked out. Then there's swelling, so retention of water or fluid, so you get the puffy feet and the puffy ankles. And
is that sometimes related to the heart?
Certainly.
Oh, wow.
So if the heart is not functioning adequately and not pumping well, you will, you know, fluid kind of tends to settle, and it's usually retained in the feet because gravity pulls things down. So you tend to get these puffy ankles and puffy feet. But usually with the heart, it will be both feet as opposed to one leg or the other.
Okay.
Which is a different kind of thought.
I guess it's important to get yourself educated, right?
It helps a lot.
Yeah, and we're certainly living in the day and age where you've got no excuse. You know, there's information everywhere, so go and educate yourself. Well, I look forward to our next segment. It's going to be really exciting and informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope that you've gained some valuable insights on understanding the heart and the importance of heart health. After the break, Dr. Merrington is going to tell us how to maintain a healthy heart. On social media, we would like to know from you, did you know that your heart beats around 100,000 times a day? And we'd like to know, what is your favorite heart healthy habit? Remember to use the hashtag Afternoon Express.